So now that you have some amazing data that looks reasonably good, you might want to think about graphically depicting it so that the reader can experience it in a whole different way. So, for example, humans can't really spot trends or patterns within data that quickly. We could, highs and lows, but the little nuances might just deserve some sort of a chart or graph. I'm going to show you a couple, a reasonably easy one and a little bit more complex one, and then just practice a few different variations, and you'll be surprised how easy graphs can be and how the user will experience the data in a way unlike ever before. So for example, on a chart, you might spot something that's a little bit higher than the next one, a trend, and that causes the reader to go into the actual data and dig deeper. So let's have a look. First of all, we're going to decide what we want to see on the chart. We'll do an easy one, and let's say we want to see the work provinces and all the staff in each province. Okay, so we have two columns that we're going to use, and it's only one set of data, so we'll use a simple chart. So step one is to highlight all the information you want to see on the chart. So all the provinces, all the staff numbers, and also the headings, because you want to see what the headings are. At the top, click the Insert tab, and you'll see a variety of different chart types here. Now, in business, we don't use all of them. So for example, radar, we don't really use it. This one is more for stock markets and so on. Scatter plots or regressions we can look at later, but pies are pretty common, and I think columns are pretty common, and lines are pretty good too. You won't know until you try them, and it doesn't cost anything to try it, so just click and see what happens, right? So let's do a simple one. Let's do a pie. And pies you can only use if you have one set of data, right? And you get a bunch of options. Now, if you're not sure which option to use, just use the first one. Later, you can have a look at this donut type as well. So let's click the first option, and you got yourself a chart. So I'm not going to leave it here because it's covering the data. I'm going to click in this white space, drag and drop the chart here, and if you'd like, make it a little bit bigger and smaller, okay? Now, the chart's okay, but I want to show the reader that this particular slice of the pie is important. So I'm going to click on it, and you see how it's all selected. I'll click on that slice again, so only it is selected, and I'm just going to nudge it or drag it a little bit out so the reader knows that that's important. Now, from a printing point of view, that color is too similar to this little color. So I'm going to click on the slice, click on it again, and go to the top where it says Format, and we'll use a shape fill to make it, let's say, red, right? You can also go to shape outline and fiddle around with the line color, the thickness of the color, even make it into dashes. We'll just leave that alone for now. Another thing you could do is go to shape fill and go to picture. So if you had a picture of, let's say, a flag of the province, you could insert it in there, or a picture of an employee, or a flag of a country. It could be all sorts of different things you could put in as a picture, right? The other thing is, if this is on paper, people don't know what the actual values of each slice are. If it's live in Excel, you can move your mouse over it and it will show you the different values, right? So I want to show those values permanently. So just click outside and do that a lot, right? Once you finish with something, click outside, deactivate. But I'm going to right click inside the chart, add data labels, and it's going to show me the values. Now, I could take a number and move it out, right? I could take this number, move it out, and that could be done for two reasons. One is just to make it more pronounced, but also to tell the reader that that's important and that's important. They stand out, right? So let's right click again, go to Format Data Labels, right? We added them, now we're going to format them. And on the right hand side, you get different options. For example, if I don't want to see the number, but the percentage instead, I could do that. I could have... I could show the series name right on there. So have a look. I'm just going to leave the percentage. I think that looks pretty good. And also, where is it? Is it on the outside end? Is it on the inside? Is it a best fit? You can play around with these different options. Now, a couple things. You could always click on one of these values anywhere and move it around if you like. Okay, look, there's a little bit of work. Let's move it around. Or you can click on the title if you wanted to change it. Just highlight it, change it. You can click on any one of these elements, and you could change the font, the color, the size, anything you like, okay? And you can copy and paste this chart into another sheet at the bottom, or even into PowerPoint or Word. Now I'm going to click here and delete this one because I want to do a different one. So on this chart, I want to see all the locations by city. I want to see 2017 staff, 2018 staff and 2019 staff. So it'll be a histogram, right? Now the trick is you don't want to highlight the cities. Press Control, highlight 2017 and then 2018, 2019. Don't do that because you will end up with problems later. What you want to do is highlight everything you want to see, and if there's stuff in the middle you don't need, it's okay, we'll get rid of it. So in this case, it's all of it, right? Click Insert, and we're either going to do a line or a column chart. Okay, I think we'll do a column today. Click and choose the first one. Now I'm going to move this down, make it a little bit bigger, and you see it doesn't look right. So next step is at the top, you're going to switch row column, and there's only one way or the other way you can do it. There's only two choices, so pick one. I think this looks pretty good. Then the second step is to click Select Data. So we're going to get rid of all the columns that we don't need. Okay, so let's take a look. We want 17. We don't want this, 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 and take your time. And we don't want this. So we want 2019, 2018, and 2017. That's good. Click OK, and that chart looks a lot better. Now, a couple things with this. You have a legend down here, but I think the two blue colors on a black and white printer just won't really present themselves well. So I'm going to change the one in the middle. Click. Go up to the top where it says Format, and let's change the fill to, let's say, yellow. All right, and again, you can change the line. You could add a picture inside if you make it large enough, right? Let's just leave it as yellow. Now, the other thing is, maybe I want this blue one to be a little bit different. So I'm going to right-click on the blue one, and notice I deactivated first, right? Right-click, change series chart type, and we're going to use combo to add a different type, either a area, a line, or this type of a line. So I'll choose the first option. And there's some options down here as well. So I want that to be a line. You could easily put this one as an area, so you get 2 or 3 different styles. I won't do that though. I'm just going to leave it at that. Click OK, and look what you get. It looks a little bit different. Makes the reader look at it a different way. Now you can click on the line, go to Format, and do the same thing. You can change the color of the line. Let's make it black. You can change the thickness. You can make it dotted. You can do all sorts of different things, right? Now, I want the reader to know that this bar here for province of Quebec is the highest one. There's something special about it. So if I click on it and then right-click, add data labels, I get some numbers, okay? And you can see that that's 227, which is the highest. So I'm just going to click on this one more time. So only that's selected. Go to Shape Fill and make it red. So when a reader sees this, they know that that's worthy of investigation. Now there's a couple of other things you can do. You can click here, change the chart title, and you can add additional titles as well. So 2017 to 2019 staff projections. That's a good title, and you could always change the color and the font and the size if you like. And the other thing is a legend. I want a legend that gives me a little bit more data, a little bit more accuracy. So I right-click. I'll go to Format Axis. And you want to play around with these different features, right? So instead of a major unit to be 50, I'll just say 25. So it'll go up in increments of 25. And click outside, and you'll see that it changes. Now you can make the chart just a little bit taller, and that looks a lot better, okay? So there's a whole bunch of things you could do with this. Play around, experiment. But generally, if you can do this particular chart, there's a lot of other ones you can do as well. I do have a separate tutorial on how to use scatter plots for regression. You can have a look at that for compensation, for example. Okay, so practice lots and enjoy.